Hi, hello, welcome to Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. Terrific Tuesday. Oh, man. I want to tell you what, we got the spring weather rolling through Brandon in a few days. A lot of 70 degrees, and we're right behind that with winter with 20s and low 20s and into 30s and 40s in a couple of days. So depending on what part of the state you live in. So if you like to sneeze, cough, and hack, get ready to roll.
Pump up on that vitamin C. That's all I can say. That's what I'm doing right now, hitting that vitamin C like crazy.
I'm just telling you because I mean, if somebody say if you don't like the weather, just hang around. It'll change in a few minutes, man. No doubt about it.
I remember there was one day in Louisiana last year where we had 3 parts of the state essentially. We had one in fall, one in summer weather, and one in winter. I mean, it was ridiculous.
I can believe that. I can believe that. Anyway, Jeff Landry, Attorney General, will join us. He actually was in a meeting with other attorney generals and other people with President Donald Trump on the border problem. So he'll be joining us from 9:30 to 10 to talk about the meeting and exactly what's been going on. So we'll get a chance to hear first rate because Jeff was at the meeting, and it's an opportunity to visit with him and see what they talked about.
You're going to have to be on your P's and Q's today.
Why is that?
Because when Attorney General Jeff Landry comes on, you're going to have the rest of the media listening. They're going to be tweeting everything that Attorney General Landry has to say.
Him and Kennedy, every time they were on here, they made the news.
Yeah, make sure old Innocent Moon shows up.
I'm always innocent, Brandon. Don't ever forget that. Anyway, great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a highlight. How many of you people saw, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not offended much. I mean, just ridiculousness of a commercial that ran. Okay? Procter & Gamble ran Gillette, the Procter & Gamble company, brand for 3 decades, is running a commercial challenging men to shave their toxic masculinity in a Gillette ad. What the hell part of my body am I supposed to shave to do this? I mean, this is the kind of ignorance that's out there. By the way, Gillette, I'm done with them. Y'all can have all the Gillette products you want. I got to go find out. Barbasol, I think, Brandon, is a Gillette product, huh? Barbasol. And I use Barbasol. That's all I've ever used. Guess what? I'm down on my last can. I was getting ready to buy something new. And I got to go look at my razors. But if I am, I'm not buying that crap anymore. You ought to see the commercial. I watched it. Okay? One of the manliest brand in men's products now. They all want us to be. I don't know what they want us to be. But they're questioning your toxic masculinity. This is what's happening in colleges and universities and the media. They don't want men to be men no more. We can all just be a little sweeter. Be sweet. That's what they want. And they mention in the thing that how best the man could be. Ad created by a brand ad agency, Gray, entitled We Believe, opens with audio news about the Me Too movement, bullying, and toxic masculinity. Narrator goes on to dispute the notion that boys will be boys, asking, is this the best men can get? We can't hide from. It has been going on too long. We can't laugh it off, making the old excuses. This is on the ad. Matter of fact, Brian, I had the ad. I meant to send it to you to play it. It's really about a minute or too long. And so they say this is an important conversation happening in a company that encourages men to be there. When are they going to start asking men to quit having babies out of wedlock? But that's not what they're targeting. I think it's a target. Matter of fact, I think it's target now. The one picture I saw had all white men in it. I didn't see anybody else but white men in it. Now, Brandon, maybe when you watch the whole ad, that's not true. But all I see is white men. Matter of fact, I know it's not true because I did come to think of it. When they lined them up, it was all white men. New spin on the brand's 30 years is for the best a man can get. But get rid of our toxic masculinity. And by the way, what is that? What part of my body do I have to shave to make them feel good? I mean, this is what we're going through. We see this happening in schools, in colleges, and universities. And I'm telling you, that's what we need. No more tough men. If men could be more like women, what a better world this would be. That's what I get out there. Procter & Gamble is among the companies, and by the way, it's a very liberal company anyway, that's getting very negative reviews. People are mad at them, but they said they're not pulling it. And by the way, Is it fair to judge every man by what one man does? There's your problem, folks. There's your problem. I ain't had any babies out of wedlock. And every baby I ever had, I took care of. What do you mean, men? See, they want all men to buy into this crap, and that's the problem. Oh, I admit, there's some men not being men, but what they do, if you group Christians or men or white men together, you can beat the hell out of them. Just don't group anybody else together. Procter & Gamble has no plan to pull its spots and faces some negative reaction. We recognize it's sparking a lot of passionate dialogue. No, not for me. I'm not buying a product. It just happens, Brandon. I usually buy a couple cans of shaving cream, and it lasts me a few months. I shave every day just about, but it lasts there for a few months. So I can now buy something else besides Barbasol, whatever one I'm using. P said no plans that Procter & Gamble is among the companies that in recent years have used advertising as a platform to promote their stance on topics such as gender equality, immigration, and gun control. But Procter & Gamble's got his names and hands and everything. It really is. I mean, you'd be surprised what they involved in that you use. You know, you'd be shocked at the stuff that they use. You know, and it's not risky for me. I ain't buying that crap. I mean, they put everybody in one boat. There are a lot of good men in this country, still standing up, still doing what's right, still raising their families, still raising their kids, still spanking their kids. They're not for that. Still teaching their kids how to use a gun properly and respect the Second Amendment. Procter & Gamble's against that. So I need to know, man, what part do I need to shave my masculinity, my toxic masculinity? I hadn't hurt anybody. I don't treat women bad. Brandon, you don't either. Never have in my life. Never treated a woman bad in my life. Most men haven't. Most men respect women. But boy, they want to go get the ones that don't. I mean, but by the way, when they named all the things they stood up for, I noticed they didn't stand up for the unborn baby that's killed every day, over 1.5 million a year. They didn't say nothing about running a commercial so people quit slaughtering children before they come out the womb. Nothing. I noticed they talking about all the stuff they ran ads standing up for gender equality. You a man or you a woman? That's how God made us. Period. End of conversation. They're messing that up too. It's amazing. They come out with something like that. And they're getting the best way to beat these people back is don't buy the product. You know what part of myself that I need to shave. Just kind of curious, folks. Because this is the kind of stuff that continues to get bigger and bigger. People buy into this crap. This is so stupid. They come up with dumber and dumber and dumber and more immoral things every day. We got to be brutally honest and make honest decisions. Try to make them all the time. You know, I'm not going to be a woman, and I'm never going to try to be. I'm not. It ain't happening. And it's not happening for you either. I don't want to be feminine. I don't want to be sweeter. You don't have to be a man and be sweeter. Well, Moons, he's so sweet. Just because a woman says that don't mean you're sweeter. You don't have to be like that. You treat everybody with respect. I grew up with my mom and dad who stayed married 60-something years, and that's what they taught us, to respect people, men and women, black men and black women too included. The reason I say that, for some dummy jumps up and says, yeah, I bet he didn't teach you to talk to him. I was taught to say yes, sir, to men, and yes, man, to ladies and women. And it never mattered what color their skin was. If they were older than me, there was a certain, little time frame, not 2 years older, but if they were older than me, it was yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am. And that's how you treated everybody. And when you went out with somebody, you treated a young lady, okay, you treated a young lady with respect. And that's what most men are taught. Some are not because of illegitimacy. They really, really got it, but they don't go after that. They don't go after anything like that. They don't go after anything what's happening in inner cities that are put there by the Democrat Party. that want it like that. They want it uneducated. They want children everywhere. They don't care about the drugs and the killings. It's been set up. Nobody don't talk about that. And then Billy Nungesser jumps up. Old Billy, Lieutenant Governor. Louisiana should steer clear of the LGBTQ restrictions. We can't do that. Old Billy steps up, said Louisiana should avoid approving laws that restrict the LGBT community because it would damage Louisiana's ability to host major sporting events like the Super Bowl and stuff like that. So we can't have no bathroom bills. We're giving in to everybody. The whole country is. So we just run from everything. We don't stand up, and we get run over. That's what's really happening. We're having to accept things that are not acceptable to God and not acceptable, really. I mean, what we're accepting now as normal is phenomenal, but we want men to be sweeter. You got to be sweet. And if you're sweet, then you are a real man if you're sweet. Don't be tough. Be sweet. Jesus help us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. The sweet part of the Moon Griffon show will be next. How y'all are? Welcome back. Moon Griffon, chopping down that masculinity. Just to make sure I can be sweeter to all my people that are listening today. Welcome back. 844-766-6607. If you want to be part of the program and be sweet, because this is a sweet day. I won't be using Gillette anymore. I wish I could get away from Procter & Gamble, too. But that's being ugly, and we don't want to be ugly. And Billy Nungesser has stood up and told us that we don't need to do anything to do with LGBTQs, that this is normal, and we need to treat it as being normal. So we know it must be nice to everyone. So we're being nice right now. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. That's a shame when my brothers call him out right when I'm doing.
Is he severely disappointed right now?
He probably wants to know, what the hell am I doing? Well, I just want to know, shave my time. By the way, somebody texted me on GMA today on the news, and I didn't see it because I didn't watch it. One of the headlines was Toxic Masculinity, How to Be a Real Man in the Wake of the Me Too Movement. Folks, being a man really hasn't changed. You teach people how to, you respect everybody. Respect men and women. You respect your elders. You respect your teachers. You can show, there may be a time to stand up, but you respect them. That hadn't changed. Which changed is families and a breakup of the home and illegitimacy, which I'm telling you causes a lot of problems. It's not about. Most people treat women very decent. There are some people that are nut up and they ought to pay the price. No problem with that. But don't lump. This is all they're trying to do. The left is trying to lump all men as being evil, and we to cut this masculinity. See, if they get you to cut the masculinity down, then we can get rid of the Second Amendment. Why need a gun? All men are loving on each other now. We're all hugging each other. That's the way it ought to be. Just everybody hug each other. Am I right? Just everybody hug each other. This is the way it ought to be. And this is what they want all men to be. If we can all do that, we don't need guns. We don't need anything. Just love. All we need is love. No. Let's go to the phone line. Let's go to Tim in Shreveport. Brandon almost cut me off. Tim, how you doing?
I'm doing fair, Moon. Thank you for taking my call. I'll make this real quick. If you want to know what causes the sexual perversion in the LGBT community, a lot of the times it is the fact that they were sexually molested as a child. That's a big part of it. The other part of it is toxic, hateful, poisonous, unhealthy parenting has caused a lot of it too. For about 90+% of the time, sexual molestation and unhealthy parenting of a hateful degree caused
I believe that.
a lot of it.
No, I think, matter of fact, there's studies out there that will prove what you said has caused a lot of it. But the problem I'm having is that companies like Procter & Gamble, which has always been a very liberal company, is now going to take my masculinity away, that I got to change the way. I'm not changing the way I treat women because I treat them with respect. Every single one of them. And most people do. And the ones that don't, they're the ones that ought to get in trouble. But you can't loop all men together. You can't put us all together. It's not right. I can promise you, I'm not like Brandon, and Brandon's not like me. But I tell you what, we're both men. In that way, we're alike. It's just, it's a shame that it's come down to this. But it has. It's come down to this, but then you got these companies shoving this down our throat, just like they did with marriage. Now with this. It's been shoved down our throat, and we got to accept it. And there's the problem. When you fight back on it, the press is going to go bury you. They're going to bury you. And nobody wants to get into the fight, so we get pushed around. You know? And then you got these young kids coming up, these young men coming up, that are going to be taught a different way. They want to be taught a different way. They want the world to teach you and these companies to teach you how to live, how to be. It's important that I taught my kids. It is important that I taught my kids how to be respectful, respect other people. You don't have to come up with some new toxic masculinity situation. You know, and then you run in commercials like that. And they got men that actually line up and get paid to get in the commercial. Unbelievable. All right, we got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. We'll take a break. Be right back. Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline, hoping that all the men that listen to our program will put their masculinity to the side in the name of making our country a better place. Holy cow. Tell you what, one thing promising is one thing we don't lack in this country. I mean, one thing we got plenty of is ignorance. And boy, we spread it around as much as we can. Roger in Shreveport, how you doing, Roger?
I'm doing okay, Moon. How about you?
Doing fine, sir. Good to hear from you.
Thank you. This is my first time calling you.
Okay, well, what you gonna call me?
Huh?
I said, what you gonna call me?
A good man.
Well, that's awful kind of you. Go ahead, Roger. What you got, bud?
Well, a couple of things. Been listening to you this morning on a man's masculinity have been attacked, you know. And I'm like you. I think people's been spending too much time in the tanning booth, you know. And I think it's kind of getting to their brain. But one thing I want to talk to you about off the subject is the shutdown that we got going on.
Yes, sir.
And I think I got a remedy for that.
All right.
I think it would end pretty quick. Instead of punishing the people that's on furlough and having them to work and not get paid, how about we just reopen the government, give them people their paychecks, and take Congress's paychecks away from them?
That would be good. The problem is theirs is protected by the Constitution, I believe.
Yeah, I know, but it's about time it gets unprotected.
Hey, no argument here. Look, they caused the problem, but they're not affected, and that's basically what you're saying. That's basically what you're saying. And by the way, you're right on the money. It's a sin and a shame, but it's part of the problem, no doubt about it. And I feel bad for those people that don't have the jobs, but I'm different. I feel bad for the people in oil and gas that don't have their business job, and I feel bad for the people that lost their job at Procter & Gamble and Port Hudson. So I feel bad for all of them, not just the government workers.
Yep. Exactly. But I think it's high time the people in this country stand up and start rebuking this government and everything and get some things changed and start holding our Congress and government.
Well, let me tell you something. You'll never fix anything if you stand up and run. Just like this masculinity. We standing up and running the other way. Thanks, Roger. Great call. Let's move on. Attorney General Jeff Landry joins us. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
Hey, Moon.
Hey, Guy. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm great. I'm standing up. What we standing up for? I'm standing with you.
No, I know you have, but the picture I saw, you was sitting down, but I think the President Trump was talking, so I'd have been sitting down hushing up myself. Talk a little bit about the meeting. I'm taking most of the time y'all spoke, and the meeting you were in had to do with protecting the borders, but tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Moon, if you read The Advocate, you would really never understand or even believe that we were in there if they wouldn't have posted the particular picture, because all they talked about was whether or not some federal workers are going to actually get their paycheck. And it's really not about whether they're going to get the paycheck. It's just about when they're going to get the paycheck, right? It's a timing issue.
Sure.
It's not that they're going to not get the money, but it was a great meeting. Quite honestly, I was shocked at the amount of time we spent in the White House. I had the Vice President to my left and Kirstjen Nielsen to my right. The acting U.S. Attorney General was to his left, Matt Whitaker. And it was a great meeting. It lasted about an hour and 45 minutes or 2 hours. The president, as usual, brought in the media to do a impromptu press conference. He was his usual great self, but it had a lot of good facts. That was remarkable in the fact that when they all left, and I'm telling you, they must have had 30 press people in there, because it's not that big of a room. It's the cabinet meeting room. And I was shocked that I picked up, as soon as I got out, started checking the news, and there was nothing about the meeting. I mean, he spent 45 minutes with these people, explaining to them some very good facts, understanding and articulating to them exactly why we need the wall, why this is a public crisis. He laid facts out, and none of it was reported. I'll give you an example. In El Paso, crime rate dramatically fell when they built a segment of the wall in El Paso. Illegal border crossings were like 600,000 in San Diego. They built the wall, dropped to 30,000. He talked about the human trafficking crises that we're having at the border, the amount of drugs coming across the border.
By the way, Jeff, Jim Acosta's proved that border walls work. On CNN.
Oh, yeah, well, listen.
He showed a beautiful wall with nobody there and said, look, no crisis here. And he embarrassed himself, but that's typical left media.
Well, it was interesting because the president eloquently told Jim that. Jim was standing right behind me, and he told Jim that. He told him, he said, Jim, thanks for the sales pitch. You did a great job. Yeah, so, I mean, look, it was.
Y'all had to laugh. Y'all had to laugh.
Oh, no, it was, and of course, Jim, but it was Jim in his usual fashion, but it's just as unbelievable. I was so upset Saturday morning when I picked up the Advocate. I mean, what dishonesty, because all they did was talk about the 600,000 government pay workers who haven't been paid, and not that they're not going to get the money, but they did not even mention the victims and the families of crime, of violence that has happened at the hands of illegals in this country. One of the other funny points was, the president said, the Democrats keep telling them that the wall is archaic, right, or it's medieval. He said, guys, he said, I was down at the border. He said, I was looking around. He said, I was just surrounded by all these great vehicles that all had a wheel on them. I mean, they held a wheel, you could say is medieval or is archaic, but no one is contemplating the replacement of the wheel. Yeah, I mean, it just is. And it's coming. I mean, we're debating a front door, Moon.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the most ridiculous thing. This Schumer Pelosi 2.0 shutdown it's all about public safety and security.
Who was Brandon, and you may have to step in, who was the guy that said, Donald Trump, when he did his speech, I thought one of his great lines were, walls are built not because you don't like people and you're trying to keep people from, you want to keep people out. Walls are built to protect the people you love from within. And Trump's actually trying to love on the company, but the national media and the Democrats, they just turn it in. These people ain't getting paid. They're not even talking about national security. So I had a friend of mine tell me, what they ought to do? All right, they don't want any walls. A wall's immoral. Start taking it down at San Diego. Just start removing it. Go ahead and remove it. Anywhere else in California, New Mexico, and Texas, just start removing all the immoral walls. Just go ahead and remove them all. Let's see what happens, and let's see what we get from Nancy and Chuck Schumer's idea of no walls, no way, no walls. Then why do we have any walls? And why do we have any walls in California where Pelosi comes from if she doesn't believe in walls, except, of course, the one around our house?
Well, here would be the challenge that I would offer them. All of the Democrats that oppose to this, tell them to take off their front door.
And the windows.
You don't have to do it. Listen, just the front door, Moon. Just for argument. Look, I challenge each and every one of them to go 12 months without a front door. Let me see if they're going to do it. Take me up. Take off your door.
Yeah.
If they would spend 12 months without a front door, I will never talk about this issue again.
No,
Not one of them are going to do that.
They wouldn't make 12 months. They know it.
They wouldn't. And then guess what? Jim Acosta, if he got home, especially in D.C., and he got home one day in the evening, especially in this winter, and he found that his front door was gone, and you asked him if that wasn't a crisis, he'd tell you that was a crisis, especially if he couldn't find one to fit his house and put back on.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, with the cold and everything else. Let me take a break. Attorney General Jeff Landry meeting with the president and other people. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the borders. Attorney General Jeff Landry, the great state of Louisiana. We'll take a break, be right back. One more segment to go with Attorney General Jeff Landry. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Attorney General Jeff Landry, my special guest. And if you'd like to be part of the program, it's always the Hickson Has It hotline, 844-766-6607. Hickson Has It hotline. Hey, Jeff, so Mr. Trump's been right, and of course the media is just pounding on him left and right. When you were up there, did you feel like any progress will be made, or you think the president's sticking to his gun and until they're ready to give some money toward the border security? I wouldn't call it a border wall. I just keep calling it border security because that's what it is.
Well, one of the things, and not to get, it's interesting because the governor hasn't answered whether or not he wants the wall or not.
Well, I was going to ask that question. Where's the governor on this on the wall?
Well, the governor is where he's always, right? Never put on the question. No one ever asks him, and no one continuously repeats when he doesn't answer the question, because he's great. I mean, look, I don't know. He must have went to the Harvard School of Liberalism, right? Because he never answers the hard questions.
Well, let me ask you a question. He had a chance. Well, hold on. You brought up gun control. One quick thing before we move on. He had a chance to vote. His people had a chance to vote with you and Taylor Barra and Blake Miguez and I'm missing some people, I'm sure. Schroeder.
Conservatives on the bond commission.
He had a chance to say no to the banks. You guys want to get into gun control and all that. We ain't giving you any more money. We're not even considering you. And he did not do that. He voted to keep it going.
That's right. Not only did he vote with
his people,
the liberal banks on their liberal gun policy that infringed upon our Second Amendment rights, he not only did that, but Matthew Block argued in favor of it.
Yeah.
He argued, no. They never put him on the spot, but that's okay. That's all right. He'll voters out there get an opportunity to ask him those hard questions on the campaign trail. He'll be like, personally, I got no problem answering my questions. Yeah. They always ask me the hard question. I got no problem giving them the particular answer. But, going back to the president in a meeting, which is amazing to me that the media won't report this, but he said in the meeting, he said, look, I want y'all to know something. I am willing that if they agree to fund this wall now, I'm willing to do comprehensive immigration reform, something no president has been able to do in 50 years. In fact, if you remember, that's what Reagan was promised. Reagan was promised that if he granted amnesty to everyone who was in the country illegally in the 80s, that they would build the wall.
Correct.
And guess what? He gave, as usual, Republicans caved in. Democrats didn't deliver.
Nope. Didn't even get close.
And this president is saying, look, I will push for comprehensive immigration reform to take care of or to address those that are in the country right now as to whether or not they want to be American citizens, whether or not they want to work, and then we can separate those who want to conduct criminal activity in this country and are here illegally, and those that want to be productive citizens of this state. And yet the media, it's amazing because the Democrats are for this. before they were against it.
Yep. Till Trump came along.
Till Trump came along. That's right.
No doubt about it. Jeff Landry, my special guest. Jeff, I want to take you back. Deputy Attorney General Bill Stiles was on, did a great job. You won a case a week or so ago against former Senator Larry Bankston, who had spent time in jail. The governor and his people were supporting him. Talk a little bit about what went on. What was he trying to do? And you beat him in court again. You beat him again. What all took place with this?
Yeah, I mean, the governor is consistently infatuated with felons. I mean, he just loves them. I don't know why. I mean, it's just I'm not saying I got some friends that have gotten in trouble before, and that I can appreciate, giving people reprisal and allowing them to repent. But here was the case. Right when the governor came in, he appointed members of the Louisiana Contracting Board, one of the biggest boards we have in the state, and they released a lawyer who had been on that board for 8 to 12 years, had been advising them, and they submitted Larry Bankston. Okay, now as you eloquently put it, former Senator Bankston was indicted and pled guilty and served several years in federal prison. How he got his law license back is amazing to me, but they granted him his law license back, and that's fine. That's the Supreme Court. They granted him his license, and he's out there practicing law. And then they wanted to put him up and give him a contract to represent the board. And of course, I was resisting.
Yep.
And the media, just bashed me and said, I just was not operating in good faith. And so I went ahead, and the governor sent me a letter saying that was his man. That's the man that he wanted. And so I relented. I allowed Larry to have a 1-year contract. And within that 1 year, we had the flood, the big flood
Sure.
that affected all of South Louisiana.
Sure.
And Larry issued an opinion before the board that would throw out the first place bidder on like some $300 million federal government project to help flood victims. And by throwing out the first place bidder, it would grant it the company who was in second place was his son worked for the company.
Yeah. It's always that's the good old boy network still playing its ugly head in this state.
So when his contract came up after that 1 year, because I basically said, well, I'll put this on probation, give the governor a chance, work with him, like the media says I don't like to do. But that's what happened when you work with him. That's exactly what happens that's what we do. We get the old boy network that crushes this state consistently. And so I refused to renew his contract. And of course he sued us. And we won. We won in federal court. I mean, we won in state court, First Circuit. Well, we didn't win in the district court, but we won. The First Circuit said, this again affirmed the fact that the Attorney General is the chief legal officer of the state. He has a separate constitutional duty than the governor, and he has the discretion to determine who represents the state of Louisiana in legal matters. And this was the right thing to do.
No, Jeff, I want to commend you for it because we knew Bankston's past, heavy Democrat, Edwin Edwards, all the past of the left in this state that has run this state. He shouldn't be around any government money at all. And the first thing he did once he got in was try to help his son. And that's what's been going on in the state. The good old boy network has been over and over and over again. And it's so hard to knock the bureaucracy down. It's there and it stays there. Well, here come Bankston coming back. And I'm glad you won. I think you helped the state by winning. The governor, once again, Bill Edwards and them got beat. This was their guy. This was Matthew Block's guy. By the way, I hope they run Matthew Block against you. I mean, he's lost every single time to you. Then he'll lose again.
Well, I'm going to tell you, we haven't. Our record against the governor is a record standing up for the people of this state. One of these days, the people of Louisiana are going to recognize the most valuable natural resource we have in this state are the people.
Yep, I agree.
And the only thing separating us from greatness is poor political leadership. Yep. I've said it time and time again. You look back in 1950. New Orleans, Houston, Atlanta, all the same size. Cities are all the same size. Today, look at those cities. Look at the difference. But again, one of these days we're going to throw out these people that lie to the voters. you know, that claim that they honest and then hire crooks, you know. It just, and you know, when we do that, the state's going to be great.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt about it. Well, I've always said we make political mistakes a lot of times thinking we made the right move. And I said I'm including everybody, me and you too. We do things and then politically they come back and haunt us. We got good people. We got a great state. I'm not leaving. You're not leaving. It's real simple. I mean, we need to do some smarter things politically. You don't hire somebody like Larry Bankston. His reputation and everything was right there for everybody to see. And Governor Edwards did it again, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, you know, again, you're right. And then to think about the audacity of those guys to then drag us into court and spend taxpayer money having to defend that deal. I mean, I can tell you what it was. They thought we were going to cave. That's exactly what it is. They take you to court. They try to beat you down, try to get you a settlement, try to say, look, you're going to look bad when you lose. But I'm going to tell you something. I got no problem looking bad standing up for the people of the state of Louisiana. None whatsoever. Yeah. I go to the mat for them each and every time.
Yep, we appreciate it. Jeff Landry, Attorney General of the great state of Louisiana. Jeff, thanks. God bless. Best of luck.
All right. Thank you, Moon.
All right. We got to take a break. More to come. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Don't go nowhere. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. Hey, folks, you thinking about building a house? You need to check out my friends at Schumacher Homes. Schumacher Homes can build a house anywhere in the state of Louisiana. They got locations in Lafayette and Shreveport and Baton Rouge, but they can come to where you are and work with you on your home. They build custom homes. They're not a place that you got to prefab or pre-this or pre-that. They build custom homes. You know, we love to hear the family story of the family business, starting from the ground up. Paul Schumacher, this is where that all started. Matter of fact, we'll visit with him next week for a few minutes and let you hear from him himself. He believes in a great quality, beautiful custom home should be affordable for everyone. Everybody's home is different. And right now, if you decide to build a house and you sign the deal up before the end of the year, they're going to do a free back porch, the porch deal that comes out over the deal. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing to look at. So SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com, okay? And they want to make you a one-of-a-kind home that represents you. And they can do it. The guy that built my home works for them. And I'm just telling you, they'll build your home the way you want it built. And they'll stand behind it. And when they quote you at the beginning, that's what you'll pay for. All locations are open 7 days a week. They provide a free, no-obligation price quote that allow the customers to know the total price of their home, no hidden costs, no hidden surprises. You don't get that much when you're building a home, I can promise you. Schumacher Homes has put their reputation on it. SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. The real deal when it comes to doing a customized home, I can promise you that. I want to thank Jeff Landry for coming and spend a few minutes with us today. That court case of Larry Bankston was ridiculous that they put him in that position. Jeff was smart by giving him only 1 year. And the first thing he tried to do within a year was cut a deal for the kitty, for the son. This is a John Hilario deal. This is a Francis Thompson deal. We'll go check in the history of their families, and you'll see them working with a good state government job. That's the history of the Good Old Boy Network. Good Old Boy Network is hard to break and hard to stop, folks. I don't care who the governor is, because they got to have the guts to really want to change. That's why we don't make this a friendly business state. That's why we read stuff like nearly half of Louisiana households can't pay for basic needs. Because we've not been about building businesses and building relationships and growing our economy. So when somebody wants to go to work, they can go to work. That's not what we've done here. We've built government. We've made it easy to be poor. You know, they talk about some of these people not meeting their basic needs. Okay? I don't know how they even come up with a stat like that. But my question would be why? That's not what they're doing. There was an opinion piece in the Times-Picayune, Louisiana must find ways to give families better opportunities. Well, let's start with this. How about lowering the taxes on the families in the great state of Louisiana? How about lowering the taxes? But they can't do that because we need bigger government so we can have poor people. Bigger government, we must have poor people. that foundation, Brandon, you read, I forget the name of it, maybe you can remember real quick, that it said we get back $1.52 for every buck we send to Washington. That's bad, folks. That's a bad stat. Because that means we are depending on the federal government, and there's going to come a day the federal government will not print any more money, and then what are we going to do?
The Rockefeller Institute of Government.
Rockefeller Institute of Government. And by the way, Brandon, at the end of that piece, I need you to send that to me if you can. Okay. All right, was it a written article?
I think so. I'm going to check to see if it's written.
Check for me if you don't mind. One of the things it said at the end really disturbed me, that while we were doing while we were having to do that. Now, part of it, they mentioned Social Security, but that could be disability. You people on Social Security that earned it, that's your money. But there was another stat in there that I saw that really disturbed me. So, Louisiana must find better ways to give families, but we can't because, according to the report, almost half, nearly half, it's kind of like the governor, nearly or almost, roughly has a 50% approval number. 48% of the people, statewide, 828,255 households could not afford basic needs such as housing, child care, food, transportation, health care, and technology in 2016. That includes Louisianans who are living in poverty and those in the Alice category. Statistical picture of our region is no better than the state numbers. So they started mentioning the highest percentage in the region is New Orleans with 53%, St. Bernard Parish 52%, Washington Parish 58%. The lowest number, not surprisingly, 36% St. Parish, although they have people like that too. There's poor people everywhere. So, how do you get rid of, first of all, you're not going to get rid of poverty because of illegitimacy. You're not going to get rid of poverty because that's not what we're trying to do. What we do is we create more programs for somebody else. Medicaid is really good for people that need it, but how many people on Medicaid that could be working getting their own insurance? And there's a bunch of them. We saw that. We saw the fraud. We saw all the things that are wrong with it. I didn't say it all was wrong. I just said that part of it is totally wrong. And we don't do anything about it. We don't change the poverty rate here because we don't change the culture. And our culture has to be one of jobs and creating jobs and businesses booming here. Tomorrow I'm going to be gone. We're going to do the program in Lake Charles for the real estate people. We'll be broadcasting realtors. And then I'm going to speak at noon, and I'm looking forward to talking to those people. And I can tell us what's wrong, and I can tell them all day, but I can tell them what's right and how to fix it. We got to have a governor that's on board to make this the friendliest business state in the country. But as long as we are out-migrating our best and brightest and people that want to work and people that want to survive, you heard them call this program yesterday. They've called many a times. If we're out-migrating the best and brightest, those people not only, let me just tell you about the best and brightest. The best and brightest may start off working for a company, but they're also the people that figured out, you know what, I can do it better. I'm going to start my own company. How many people have left this state? Hundreds of thousands of people that left this state that were working here. How many of those people have now started their own business? How many of those people would have started that business here only to prosper, to see it grow to 10 to 50 to 100 to 200 employees? That's the people that are leaving. The people that are staying and the people that are moving in are those, not those type people. And so you make it better for the producers to be able to do really well here. Then there's jobs for the people who are never going to be the entrepreneur type. Most people are not. It takes faith and guts and money and hope and prayer to make a business make it. So what dominates our culture is out-migration. And out-migration takes the best and brightest, and then it brings the older people out with them because they want to retire by their children and by their grandbabies. So they leave. That's just the process. Plus, when they get older, some older people, they need help. And they want to be by the family so they can get the help they need. Now, folks, that's the culture we've created. So what's happened, since we don't care about jobs and businesses, and for 14 years, our GDP has grown half of what our state government's grown. And state government is at $32 billion, the most ever, and it's not enough. We're still getting stories like this. Nearly half of Louisiana households can't pay for the basic needs. Everybody that wants to be on Medicaid can be on Medicaid. Okay? Especially if you don't make any kind of money at all. You can be on Medicaid. You can be on this so-called freebie that Bell Edwards and the press is bragging about. But meanwhile, the best and brightest leave, they go to where jobs are, and there's nothing here for the low-paid worker to go really make any money or get a shot at the American dream. So what we do, we make it easy to be poor. And people accept that. Nobody has to accept the job they're in right now. Nobody has to accept the pay they're making. No, you don't. Not in America. Not if you dream and work. Oh, no, there's somebody out there that will help get you a leg up. So why do we as a state only worry about state government and who we can give something to and keep them here? And what I mean by keep them here is not the best and the brightest. Their hope in the report is to help shape public policy to better support families and create economic opportunities. To the end, the agency is doubling down on our investment in early care and education. Well, go ahead and do it. We've been doubling down for 50 years. Hadn't worked, has it? Because doubling down for all these kids that do get out and do happen to get a good education, they're leaving to go work somewhere else because we don't care about the end result. The end result needs to be once people are educated here, they work here, they stay here, they raise their families here. That's the end result we want. But you got to have an end result policy that's not front loaded with government. And that's what we have. And that's what you saw Bell Edwards do with all the Democrats and some weak Mark Abraham type Republicans. Low wages dominate Louisiana's economy. Bell Edwards is bragging about how many people are working. Low wages dominate Louisiana's economy across Louisiana. 66% of jobs pay $20 or less per hour. Most of those jobs pay less than $15 an hour, which amount to $30,000 a year full time. So, there it is, folks. Now we know when Bell Edwards says we got more people working, we know what they're working on because the best and brightest are leaving. You see that $80,000 or $100,000 a year jobs in Port Hudson, the Georgia Pacific just cut? You know what I'm talking about? Well, guess what? They didn't give us the multiplier effect. They only give us the multiplier effect when they add jobs. The multiplier effect on them 700 jobs, we lost 3,000. 3,000 because of that. That's not good. All right, we got to take a break. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. We'll take a break. Be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. A couple other things on this. The Rockefeller Institute says we get a higher return on our dollar because we don't pay a lot in federal taxes compared to other states. 42nd in the amount of taxes paid to the federal government. We pay a lot of money to state and local government is what we pay. And just the fact we do, we pay a tremendous amount of money. That's why our state budget is as big as it's ever been at $32 billion. And they're crying it's not enough. And the governor's hollering, oh, we cut $600 million out of the budget. Can't believe they're going to run on that. All right. So how do we help families? Jobs, the biggest thing. Illegitimacy is just wiping us out. The two-family home was so important. Don't get me wrong, it still is. But it needs to be so important. Babies coming out of a two-family home got a better shot. They keep saying we need to help shape public policy to better support families and create economic opportunities. How do you do that when you want to pound on the businesses and keep raising sales taxes, raising income taxes? How is that better your family brand and for you to have less money? I just always wondered, how does it better? We worry about the poor, but we take as much money as we can. We hear from the left that sales taxes are devastating the poor, yet Bel-Air was a great Democrat. He proposed the 1 cent and the 0.45. He actually wanted another penny. He would have took another penny. So investment in early care and education, when do people realize that pre-K is good, but pre-K without people staying with those kids all the way through school is just pre-K. That's it. Nobody can show me how pre-K has helped prepare their kids for the world they're going to live in. They want to double down on investments on early education, early care and education workforce development. We've been doing that. They want a re-entry to improve the economic climate for businesses in our region. What does that mean, re-entry? To improve the economic climate for business in our region. Cut the taxes. Let them prosper. They'll go to town. You can't run the oil and gas industry out and go, man, we ain't got no... We run it out of Dodge. We sue the heck out of it. We tell them to get out of here. We got people that are leaving to go work in Texas and other places. And then we say, man, we need jobs. Quit suing them. Quit suing all companies and see what happens. It says low wages dominate Louisiana's economy. I explained that to you. It just goes on and on and on and on. Government and nonprofit groups supplement low-income families across Louisiana. Then what's the problem? The household survival budget developed by United Way, by the way, United Way put together this, also doesn't allow for any savings, so these families are vulnerable to emergencies. Man, I want everybody to have a good job, don't you? Long term, there's need for more affordable housing, higher wages, and job training to fit businesses' need. Then they brag about the Medicaid expansion, and that's the problem. We're bragging about hooking more people on the government, then we bicker when there's not jobs out there. The more people on government, the more they have to take from businesses and people that produce. When they take from businesses and people that produce, guess what happened? There's no jobs out there. See, it's just like a dog chasing its tail. And that's what they do in the state of Louisiana. We chase the tail. We never figure it out. Quality child care and pre-K, preschool must be a priority. Louisiana is only serving 15% of our children in need from birth through age 3. So now we got to have government from birth to age 3. And that's the problem, folks. The more the government gets involved, the more hypocrisy. The more the government gets, state government is $32 billion. And according to Robert Travis Scott, we're going to be $1 billion in the hole in 2020. And they're going to come tell you how we need a constitutional convention. They're going to come tell you how we need tax reform. We do. But here's the problem with that. I got a feeling that when that's all said and done, it's going to put it even harder on the working man. Harder on the individuals and families, not easier. Get rid of all of state business taxes. Get rid of all of them. Well, ever have to do an exemption again for a local community? Ever. Why don't we lower the tax rate? Why don't we do something intelligent? But you got to have a governor who's willing to take it to the people and say, here's what we need. We got a census coming up. If we lose another congressman, don't tell me how everything's great here. We can change this. This is fixable. But we better push it or they will never fix it. All right, take a break. Be right back.